Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. The intro was short, it was sharp, we'll get it out of the way. I like the thought of that new intro being the bulletin noise, just like, this is it, we're right into it, we don't hesitate, we just throw ourselves into the deep end, you know? I don't know what I'm talking about. Welcome back to the channel anyway, and welcome back to Celtic transfer talk. Of course, what we do, what it says in the tin, we talk about Celtic's transfer rumours. And today, it's a bit of a weird one. We've got some big news this morning from Celtic. Well, some people would regard big news, a lot of people would regard as news they didn't want to hear. And also some stories coming out now that Celtic are being linked with another centre-half alongside Mario Vescovic, who we've already been speaking about for the past few weeks. So it's a bit of a weird day. This video wasn't intended. I wasn't planning on doing this. I was planning on doing something completely different. I was actually planning on doing 5 free agents that Celtic could sign this summer, or should maybe look to sign this summer. But we've kind of put that in the back burner. If you want to see that, make sure and hit the like button. If we smash 200 likes, I'll get that video out as soon as possible, probably tomorrow. And you can have a look at some free agents that we should maybe look at. And if you are new to the channel, please, as I said yesterday, make sure and hit that subscribe button. We are now on 26.9k, which means we're less than 100 away from hitting the big 27k. I want to try and get to 30k as soon as possible, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. So let's not waste any more time. Let's just talk about the stories that we're here to talk about. First, we're going to start with GRIFFITHS. The news came out today because I want to get it over and done with. I want to say my piece and I want to move on. I wasn't originally planning on speaking about this on YouTube. I didn't think that there was any point because I've been speaking the same sort of opinions about Leigh Griffiths for the past year or so now. I thought that his time at Celtic was coming to an end, and that with his contract expiring, it was the perfect time for both parties to drift away from each other, to both of us start afresh. But Celtic have extended the year's contract, as expected, and he will be here now for the rest of for the next season. Look, I'll never wish bad upon Leigh Griffiths. If anything, I want him to do well at Celtic. We know that when he's at his best, he can be a valuable asset, but I find it humiliating that we're at this point. I really do, and it's another one of those things that is a worrying sign for me, as where we go as a football club. I made a video last week about Leigh Griffiths being set to stay, and I gave my opinion there, but I also made a video saying that I was worried for Celtic. I was worried that, you know, we were reverting back to old players like Eric Sviatchenko, we were being linked back to Gordon Strachan at the time, and we were getting linked with obviously that year extension of Griffiths, and for me it was just setting all the wrong tones for a club that's in a rebuild, a club that's meant to be moving forward and going with a completely fresh direction. That's why I'm not a big fan of this Griffiths extension. Like, people have thrown around I've seen people on Twitter throwing around the quote goal machine. Christ almighty, he's not scored over, I think, 15 goals in the past 3-4 years in the league. So I don't quite know where goal machine is coming from. Yes, I know he's struggled with some personal issues over the past few years and such, but he wasn't fit this past 12 months. He wasn't there to help the team when we needed him most. Ultimately, the chances that he got, he threw back in the club's face. And for that, I felt like his time at Celtic was over. Of course, Ange Postecoglou, we've got to trust his judgment on this. That's the only real positive that I can see. Ange Postecoglou sat down and he said, I'll speak to Griffiths, I'll see if he's of worth to me, and I'll see if he buys into the vision, and then we'll make a decision on his future. So obviously, Ange Postecoglou has had this conversation with Griffiths and decided, yeah, we'll keep him around, we'll give him that 1 year extension. So we've got to put in a kind of, I guess, a sort of ounce of trust with Ange there. We've got to buy into his thinking and sort of support him in that. But I can't help but feel it's just the same story as what we've had with our last two managers, with Brendan Rodgers, with Neil Lennon, that they've showed a bit of mercy. They've bought into this, oh, I'm ready to fight back talk, and then 3-4 months later we're looking at an unfit player. I just can't help but feel that's what's happening, and that's what annoys me. But he's here now. Hopefully he can contribute next season. We need all the help we can get, and we move from it. If it was up to me, I would have been letting Leigh Griffiths go, but I'm not the one that makes the decisions. So on to the actual transfer talk now, in the form of incomings, in the form of new players, and actually a new crop of talent for Celtic. The Record and some other outlets are reporting that Celtic are close to completing a deal with Sheffield Wednesday's centre-half Osaze Oragide, I believe it's pronounced. Celtic have apparently fought off interest from Leeds and Crystal Palace, and moves from overseas as well, to try and bring in the young Sheffield Wednesday centre-half this summer, and a transfer that once again, most most Celtic fans will sit down and say, we can't give too much of an honest interpretation about, we've not seen or heard too much of the player. 20 years old, making 21 competitive appearances for Sheffield Wednesday last season. Origide would become the second Sheffield Wednesday player that we have signed this summer, with Liam Shaw coming in, of course, on that pre-contract. Celtic must have had a few scouts down there doing things, but it's someone who seems to be getting quite a bit of praise, quite a high rating. I was doing a little bit of research there before I came and made the video. I've been seeing a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans saying they've been impressed from what they've managed to see of him, but of course you've got to take all of that with a pinch of salt. I think that this transfer can be looked at as both a positive and a negative, and I'll try and kind of run through those with the very little that I know about the player at this moment in time. The positives is this is a young player that can go on to develop quite a bit at Celtic. We can bring him in, hopefully get him into the first team at some point, and try and develop him into a player that we can later sell on for profit. That is ultimately the sort of standard at Celtic in this day and age. You're talking about a player who we're signing on kind of a free contract, that £200,000 development fee. There is a lot of money to be hopefully made there, especially when you see him getting linked with the likes of Premier League clubs, Leeds, Crystal Palace, and even abroad. It kind of gives you hope that there is a player there. There's a reason that he's been scouted and he's coming to Celtic, or potentially coming to Celtic, because he's someone who actually does have a bit of ability. That is the main positive for me. And also just adds into the depth, doesn't it? We need centre halves. But making only 21 appearances for Sheffield Wednesday in his career, for a team as well who are relegated from the Championship last season, does make it a little bit worrying that what happens if we get Viscovic, right? This is me being optimistic that we get Viscovic, we get Origide, that's two centre halves brought in. Now, to me, I feel like we're still lacking a very specific need in that back line, and particularly within the centre halves, and that's a bit of experience. Julian, we don't know exactly when he's going to be back yet. 27 years old, we don't quite know when he's going to be in, though. So there's your experience, but beyond that, you know, Viscovic is 19, Origide is 20, Stephen Welsh is 21 years old, Leo Connor, who's coming back, is young as well. We're bringing a lot of young players that we're putting a lot of reliance on and a lot of pressure on to kind of carry this team and be the kind of quality that we need right away. Now, some of these guys might thrive under that pressure, of course, but I feel like there's certainly a need for Celtic to go and sign either a household name. I'm not saying go out and try and sign a fucking Harry Maguire or something, but you know what I mean? Like, go and get somebody that we know of, but ultimately just someone who's got a bit of experience around them. I feel like we've not seen too many links on that front within the back line. Now, we're talking about Baldock maybe coming in from Sheffield United, but I still feel like that's not going to happen. I feel like Sheffield United will probably want a decent fee for him. So we've not really seen that much of an experience link there, which is worrying when we probably need it now more than ever. I do like the idea of us bringing in these young guys alongside it, but we can't put all the reliance on them. The main positive for me about going and getting players like this is us trying to get ourselves into and exploiting the English market a little bit more, because there certainly is a lot of younger guys down there who are going on to have good careers and get moves and then eventually work their way up. I think the main one that we can look at most recently that was linked with Celtic was Ivan Toney, someone who was young, doing well in these Championship League 1 areas, and now is going to the Premier League and getting touted with 30-40 million pound moves. So, you know, that we need to get ourselves into that market and try and find our way around it. So that's another positive on that front for me. I just want us to get these deals done, though. I'm fed up of hearing linked and in talks with or close to coming to. You know, I want them done. We're like 19 days away from our first game or something. We really need to get them over the line now. There's no point in rumours. We need to see them holding the shirt at Celtic Park and playing for us. In terms of the player himself and what we should expect on the park, the only thing I can tell you right now is some Sheffield Wednesday fans on Twitter are saying that he's going to be good, he's a great player, he looks promising, and that we should be excited about it. Of course, you can only take that with a pinch of salt, as the saying goes. We need to wait and judge for ourselves. But he's got a YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to him. I wonder how long it will take him if he joins Celtic to overtake me in subs. That will be interesting to see. Christ, apparently at Benfica we're looking at him. He must be decent if he's getting links like that, surely. So that does it. There you go. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as I said, if you want that 5 free agents video, make sure to hit that like button and we can get that done either tonight or tomorrow. That'll do it for me for now. Let me know what you think in the comments, I said. And I'll see you all next time.